Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Riz Dominate Premade series. We had a little bit of a late start, but we're finally jumping into the game now. We do actually have a few different teams that are going to be taking place, as the other team actually did unfortunately forfeit. So this time around, we are actually going to have Deus Vult, probably just absolutely butchering that name, and they're going to be going up against EOD Weeb Nation. My name is Visions. Joined with me is Sit Straight. We're finally getting ready to jump into the game.
Yeah, now you say now it was an unfortunate forfeit. I think it's pretty fortunate for half of the players that tried to show up today. For the other half, though, very unfortunate. Sorry to hear it happen. We definitely wanted to cast that. On the bright side, though, we do have a game of players with a caliber that I actually think might be better. So this should be pretty exciting. Tell me, do you see any summoner spells or keystones that stand out right off the rip?
Do I see anything that stand up off the rip? See a lot of lethal tempo for sure. I think everything else other than that, I mean, it seems to be pretty traditional for the most part, at least. But we're not seeing anything that's kind of standing out in the game one. Maybe you're catching something that I'm missing.
Yeah, so I think lethal tempo on Xayah actually seems to be a bit off. It's pretty commonplace on Ashe. On Xayah, I actually think you might be better with a Hail of Blades, given the way that her kit works, if you wanted that attack speed and you wanted to play something a little off-brand. But still, nonetheless, it's a good keystone. And with her ability usage.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give you guys just a little bit of an idea of what we're kind of going up against here, we do have both teams that are sitting at 1-0. So both are looking to take that 2-0 in their group, trying to pull ahead here as we finally are getting right into that laning phase. Both junglers are going to be starting on the same side of the map, so we might see that top action fighting around that Scuttle Crab here soon. We didn't really get any pixel awards actually come out here from the Vult team right off the bat, so that is going to be interesting. But we do have level 2 in the bot lane here, looking to see if they can pull the trigger here. That's actually level 1 versus level 2, and they are winning the trade. Ignites are taking, heal is being popped, gonna have to flash away, still waiting to hit that level 2. They are going to be able to get away from now, but a lot of summoners are gonna be blown very early.
Yeah, Rakan intros with that grand entrance, but Braum using the Winter's Bite with a volley out of Ashe. All that kind of pushes them back, but still the life lead heavily in the favor of the blue side right now. Just because the life lead on Ashe is substantially lower than it is. I'm sorry, as she actually begins to prove me wrong and gain back a lot of that life.
Heal up a little bit here and there, but EOD trying to take the best of that trade off the bat, despite not having the level advantage, are able to do Xayah Rakan things, which I have not seen this bot lane lovers duo in quite a long time. So glad to see them back on the Rift here for game number 1. Top side, however, might see a gank coming through here. Sejuani is pushing up on the Renekton that is a little bit overextended here. So Renekton might be in a bit of trouble, realizing now, as we do have the Ornn walking forward, Zohar looking to see if they can get anything, but not able to actually land the CC. So Lord Skippy actually able to get himself out of that one, and also get a lot of damage back onto Zohar, as he's going to have to walk back into his jungle and get out of the lane. Zach looking to actually join the fight, has the level 3, doesn't have a lot of range on the elastic slingshot, but just looking just to back up his top laner.
Yeah, Zach going to cancel the slingshot, and he's actually going to path down to follow Sejuani, maybe walking back for something cheeky, maybe just a word. We'll see where it leads. But Sejuani using your smite early could cost her this Gromp. Probably will.
Yeah, he definitely could. As we're going to go in for it. Yeah, they're going to be able to take that away. Hit his level 4. Zohar, though, opting in for the fight. We have Lord Skippy looking to follow it up. Passive available on Zach here. Aftershock has been popped. Zohar in some trouble. Flash comes through first. Blood the Lord Skippy. Passive still available for Sahuk, as he's going to be able to get himself back to life. Deus is going to have to just waddle back to lane as an excellent top jungle duo comes through. But look at Kenny in the mid lane. Excuse me, Dr. Kenny in the mid lane, as he's going to get taken down. Solo kill comes through from the Xerath to find that opening kill. So 2 big kills go over to the solo laners.
Now, I actually missed what happened there in the mid lane. I was pretty busy trying to keep an eye on the cooldowns. Oh, we actually another engage on the bot real quick. So you're going to peel out. Now, just to tell y'all what happened there, Lord Skippy actually flashes in and uses the Slice. That means that he goes on to a 20-second cooldown, 18-second cooldown, and he's actually not going to be able to use Slice and Dice again onto Ornn, and that's why Ornn's able to get away there, especially because Zach's surviving on the passive. But with Zach's passive down, we're going to have to see a much more passive play out of him.
Yeah, a little bit more in passive indeed, as that blue buff also went over to Lord Skippy just to help with that a little bit more. It doesn't help the mana pool, of course. It certainly will help with his CDs, make it a little bit easier to trade. Zach paying a lot of attention to this top lane right now, trying to see if they can set him behind. TP, however, available for both of these top laners still, so don't think anything too crazy is going to happen. They're able to get back to lane pretty safely, and that's going to be Sahuk coming up here, being able to grab that for himself, to be able to get that Scuttle Crab, trying to just get that extra vision here. You can see him just spending a lot of time up here. Going to go for the reset now with Sejuani making her way down to the bot side.
Yeah, no, Sejuani's actually made her way into the rafters, and Zach's recalling. Trying to see if she pushes up and tries to make an invade or a play onto Xerath. It's looking like Xerath is the option.
Yeah, decides not to opt in for the bot play. Decides to go in for that mid lane. And that mid lane, Xerath already having that lost chapter, doing extremely well for himself into this Ahri matchup. Which, I mean, you could arguably say that Ahri should be able to win with that mobility. It is kind of what you would consider a soft counter. As they're both going to be level 6, but she's a little bit behind now, so she's going to take a lot of poke. It's going to make it very difficult for her to kind of bounce back. But now we have an engage. Elastic Slingshot's going to find a Q onto both of the lovers in the bot lane. They are going to get ignited, taken down. The collapse has come. They're caught out and taken out. That's going to be the stun landing onto the King's Land, and he will fall as well. So 2 more members going down. 4 kills early going over to the side of DB, having an excellent start in this one.
Yeah, absolutely dominating. He's actually already, just misses the charm. I don't think it would have mattered if it did connect, because Cleanse is up on Xerath, who had just taken a summoner spell, and they do take the Drake off the back of this play. Could imagine them even taking the blue buff. Remember, they do see that timer coming up, and they know where the enemy is. Or actually, sorry, I mean red buff.
Yeah, just having a really good early game so far, being able to find multiple kills. You can see, Sasuke just doing an excellent job this game of just being everywhere on the map, finding that kill onto Sejuani up in the top side, taking away the Gromp. Now moving to the bot side, helping secure a double kill, and now also getting the Mountain Dragon. A lot of things kind of going in their favor early on in this game as they're almost working towards 3K goal lead. That's a beautiful engage. Now looking for the second one. His boy Bullet's in a little bit of trouble here. They overstay their welcome. That's going to be a big double kill going over to the AD carry of EOD. That was exactly what they needed. A lot of goals in that Zaya's pocket.
Yeah, Zach using the stretching strikes just as a slow there. And, we get a slice in. Are we going to hit the dice? Yeah.
Lord Skippy trying to go for that all-in, trying to abuse that lead that he has now as he is slowly but surely taking over that matchup as well as building up that CS lead.
No, that grand entrance by a King's Land, absolutely beautiful. You have to give credit to good recon play, especially on a patch where he's been put down. Zach actually going to take both camps at the same time here. Really effective jungle pathing.
Yeah, you love seeing it. Love doing this on the Graves, the Kindred.
He messes it up.
He resets the Gromp. You have to stand a little bit closer as the blue buff's able to walk up a little bit more. But he is not going to be able to do the total secure on both. But look at the top side here. Lord Skippy looking to go for the all-in here, seeing if he can get anything. Going to be able to force out just some more pressure here on Hubris. This man is taking a lot. That's going to be a reset coming out from Lord Skippy now, as he's going to be able to get himself some more items. Actually deciding to opt in for one more wave, but being wary of where Sejuani is on the map.
Yeah, you're actually going to need Ignite on Renekton, I think, if you want to solo kill Ornn. The best you're going to do is you're going to shove him out and you're going to keep him CS deprived. And that's definitely good, and it's the reason why he has the highest CS in our game right now at 79, with the next highest being his mid laner at 70. Right, that's a pretty healthy advantage over the game for Lord Skippy right now. And that's the real benefit he's going to get. If he gets too thirsty for the kill, though, he'll end up giving that advantage away to the Ornn in the form of a solo kill. Don't forget, Ornn's whole kit is CC.
Yeah, exactly. Entirely CC. Great point to bring up here as Lord Skippy pushing in those wave after wave. Now we can see the jungler making his way back up to that top side. You want to make sure that your Renekton's able to play this aggressive and able to have that kind of pressure and try and neglect some of that. As we see, another engage now coming through, trying to get a land. Land's not going to come out though, still opting in for the all-in, but now we have Zach looking to return, seeing if they can get it. Flash comes out, going to use the Q to be able to stun him up, but the damage may not be enough. Xerath are coming out. Can he hit Dr. Kennen? Here comes the Elastic Slingshot to help secure. They use everything, and they're going to be able to take down Dr. Kennen yet again, and putting him even further behind the Xerath, just having an excellent start to this game.
Yeah, now the Xerath is still going to have up his cleanse and his flash, and the Zac still has an ultimate up, but he doesn't have the health to do anything with that, although it looks like he's going to invade wolves. And wow.
Yeah, going to be able to take that wolf, deny the Sejuani as much as possible. And that's something we haven't really seen, too much from Zohair. We saw him trying to make the top play onto Lord Skippy. But as I say that, we have the quickness into the grand entrance in the bot lane. Zohair looking to make the entrance here. Seeing if they can find the kill. Flash comes out as well as the Featherstorm looking to flash. Seeing if they can get that kill. Dash is going down to one death, but it's going to be a trade 1-for-1. Zohair finally ends up finding something on the map, but still not too bad as boy Bullet's Angel is going to be able to get something back for himself.
Yeah, Podrick got so thirsty there that they stayed underneath the tower for the longest period possible. And even at the end of the play, it's a King's Land who picks up the kill. So it's not hashtag worth, in my opinion. But the CS lead's still firmly in the side of Podrick. Really a silver lining out here for his own team.
Just having a really, really good start for them. Everything seems to be going right if they can just keep on doing this. They have a lot of the tools to go into the mid to late game to be able to win themselves this game. But, I mean, you still do have to be wary about this bot lane lovers duo, this grand entrance into the quickness. You know, it's just so hard to try and disengage that, especially when you have the Xayah to go with it. It makes just for an excellent combo, so you cannot count them out yet. However, they are in a 3K gold deficit. While all of that is happening, the Rift Herald is also being taken down to the top side, so that will go over to DV for themselves, just getting that extra objective to start knocking down turrets, and they might move towards the top side with that, as there's already a couple plates that have been taken off that turret.
You know, turret plating is very understated, but also overstated at the same time. It's got this odd dichotomy. I think the best way to think about it is that 2 turret platings are really equivalent to a single kill. And that's honestly all you gotta do. Right there, you're done.
Grand entrance, though. Back onto the bot lane. Ignite just comes through. The concussive blow locks down a King's Land. And he is going to be back to the base, just sent out. He goes for the engage, but they don't exactly have the damage to be able to take that out when you have the unbreakable shield up. And now Lord Skippy going in for a bit of a trade here, both of them, but Hubris fighting back a little bit, doing what he can to stay in that lane to make sure he does not get poked out and step back.
Sejuani's waiting on the wing. Zach better not slingshot in. Oh, he goes.
Podrick is trying to see if he can kite out of this one, trying to do what he can, but he gets taken out. The Let's Bounce will pull Zohair back. It also gets himself out of the turret range, and now the Rift Herald will be going down, and that looks like that potentially could be some turret plating off the turret, but there is a few members here looking to defend this. I don't think they're going to be able to get the turret here as the King's Land walks up. 3 members are down here, but they're just going to take the turret plating and walk away.
Yeah, so there was a mechanic and a possibility for Zohair to come through with that fight with a win, and it's not really his fault that he doesn't go through with it. I know I personally, as a Sejuani player myself, wouldn't have been able to pull it off, but you actually want to headbutt the slingshotting Zac midair. So that way you're going to cancel his slingshot and it won't deal any damage, and this will throw off his tempo just enough. He's not going to pick up the turret aggro that he wants so badly, right? This is probably going to now go over to the Ashe or the Braum. It really does throw off the play and the momentum of the team. But that's a little higher mechanic and harder play to pull off 100%. Something, once again, I haven't done myself, and I play both champions.
Yeah, if you're able to line that up, you can absolutely destroy that Zac engage. We see it in pro play quite a bit when we see this jungle matchup go against each other. So great point to bring up. Have to see if Zohair is able to kind of do that throughout the game and try and shut down the Zac engages that are going to get further and further as he gets closer to that level 9. But an excellent start coming through here for DV. Like we've been saying, they've been getting all of the objectives, already got themselves the Mountain Dragon. The Air Dragon is also available. They use the Rift to get themselves a little bit more turret plating. It just seems like a lot of things are going their way. They're on the same page, and they seem to have just a bit more teamwork early on as we are in this early game.
Yeah, now the turret platings have actually all fallen off. That means no one's going to be able to attain any gold that they hadn't already attained. And when we look at the gold lead, this is pretty much what we're stuck at, is 5K. This is officially the point where we're going to have to see a comeback. And I think it's a King's Land who's going to facilitate it if it does happen. Just been an absolute monster on their comm. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a ban come game 2.
Yeah, he's had some excellent engages so far. It's really been the reason why they've been able to stay in this game, obviously having all the kill participation with his duo. And it's exactly what we're going to have to keep our eyes on. This is the man. We'll have to see if he can do it for them. He has the Moby boots as well, if he wants to move around the map to see if he can try and affect some of these other lanes, specifically maybe the Xerath, who doesn't have as much mobility. But we'll have to keep our eyes on him for sure, see how the rest of this game plays out, as we're going to see just Vision being taken out, potentially setting up for this Air Dragon.
Yeah, no, Xerath actually been very respectful. He's posting a pretty high CS lead through most of the game himself. Already has himself actually a null magic mantle, as here comes in the Zac and no engage. But a big Q does land onto Ari, ultimate out of there.
Yeah, his ultimate's going to come out, but not going to be able to find the kill. But now here comes the Glacial Prison. Going to be able to stop that, but an engage comes through there from Sasuke as he goes through, but not going to be able to chain anything up there or land the stun. So he is just going to walk himself out. Lovers duo looking to maybe collapse on it and slowly clear out some vision here, but they do have Sejuani to back them up if they go for this play. Zohair's going to be on his his golems, but again, going to be engaged on, but this time he will be pulled back. But this looks like it will not be used just yet. Kingsland is in some trouble. Concussive blow looks like it will find him. That is a big kill going over to the mid laner. Looking to see if they can get anything else here. They have their eyes set on the turret. Elastic Slingshot available as well as the passive. Podrick in some trouble, has the Feather Storm, looking to pull back the feathers, will get himself out. Now, the hunt is on, but he has to flash away from the Xerath damage. It is just so big. They're able to get themselves the turret after all of that and just extend that goal lead a little bit more.
Now that Xayah ultimate has me all sorts of excited. I'm a Podrick fan and it's official. It's hard to make me a fan too if you're on the side that's down 9-3 in the game. Hubris though, also turning into a fan of this man. He's going to use the Ornhorn to try to win back the fight with the Renekton.
Yeah, that's going to be the ultimate coming out from Lord Skippy. He should be okay now. He has a level advantage, but does not want to opt in for this kill. Ultimate did come out from Hubris. Yeah, he's building right in front of him, and Lord Skippy's just going to try and shove out this wave, probably opt in for a back, as he's been doing an excellent job of pressuring that turret, almost going down here short.
Yeah, now Hubris just kind of looking at him, saying, what are you going to do to me at this point? With Bramble Vest and a IBG finish. Wow, this Ornn is going to start to get big. But like you said, this tower getting very low, and that'll be the thing that cost Hubris the advantage that he has accrued so far. Level lead still in the Renekton's favor as well.
Level lead in his favor. Jungler Elastic Slingshot, and just to get himself closer to that dragon, which it looks like they are slowly converging on. Looking to set that up for themselves just to get that extra movement speed throughout the map, as they have been moving around quite a bit. Specifically, this Zac been all over the map for the most part, trying to get every lane ahead, and he's done an excellent job of doing just that, taking turrets with his team, getting that turret plating with his team with the Rift Herald, taking every objective so far. But we have a lot of members moving towards the top side of the map. You see Sejuani up here looking to join them, and they might go for a dive onto Xerath, as there isn't very many members. The Ashe did come out as well. Flash comes out there looking to find the quickness. It will land. Now it's going to be chained up. An excellent cleanse comes out there from the Glacial Prison, and now the hunt is on. Podrick looking to dog these Xeraths hard. Here comes Zac here, should be able to clean up this kill, and that is going to be Podrick falling down. The Kingsland will be the next one to fall. That's going to be Zohair on the run, seeing if he can get himself out for the Elastic Slingshot. It's going to be able to keep him from going anywhere. That is 3 big kills going over to DV, as they are just finding success all over the map, and now they should be able to get themselves a turret as well.
Now, I was pretty sure that they were going to engage there immediately with the Glacial Prison, and he's been pretty consistent with those so far. Would really like to have actually seen Zohair go for that play. While in the bot lane, we do see Lord Skippy and Hubris matching each other again. I really want to draw attention to the items here. While Hubris has chosen one of the most intelligent item sets possible, now prioritizing health and CDR, which is exactly what you want against Renekton, right? The perfect item to Kinder Gem after these two pieces. I'm not sure what he's building into. It's probably a Sunfire Cape. Or no, you haven't get built with the Kinder Gem. We'll figure that out later. Renekton's what I want to talk about. He has a Tiamat, a BS Sword, and a Phage. And a Kinder Gem.
Yeah, and as we say that, we have yet another engage onto a King's Land. Just gets destroyed with that Xerath damage there with 1Q. Just absolutely chunked him. However, Hubris looking to see if they can find a pick onto the top laner. That's going to be the Ornn ultimate landing onto Lord Skippy. But they do not have the Glacial Prison just yet to follow up the CC. So Lord Skippy's going to take the pressure and walk out, as the rest of the map looks like they will be doing a total reset here to get back out together. This is a really good play from pretty much the whole movement. And now Lord Skippy actually goes in for a play here, looking maybe for the 1v1, just going to threaten a little bit of damage, as Hubris knows he may not be able to stick around too much longer.
So what I'm really interested in for the remainder of this game is to see the economy of Zohair's ultimates. I think that the Glacial Prisons are the things that we've been seeing not really turn up as large as we want them to, even though they've definitely been turning up and connecting. I'd like to see if Zohair's presence can be felt in this game, or if Sejuani ends up a throwaway pick for game 2.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to to see how the draft kind of varies into the second game, and you almost have to start thinking about that at this point in time. You're over, well, just around about 10k gold down at this point in time. You don't have any turrets going for you. You do have the gold at least on to Podrick, and he might be able to carry this game out if you're able to stall it long enough. But the issue, you have to kind of think about is they have so much engaged. The Xerath pokes you from so far away. You have to worry about the Ashe ultimate, the Elastic Slingshot from over walls. There's a lot you have to worry about, and it is something to maybe start start thinking about the next game. And I have been on teams before where, you know, you're so far behind that you do have to start thinking about that. And as I say that, we do have the Kingsland is in some trouble again. Looks like he might just go down, and he will. Zohair now is in some trouble. The Baron is alive, and they might just decide to pull the trigger.
The Baron is alive. Yeah, towers are going down here once this Baron goes down. It's kind of the one-to-one occasion. Once one falls, the other goes with it. Question's going to be again, does this Glacial Prison connect? And if it connects, does it fall onto the member with the black shield?
But we're going to have the engage. A nice Glacial Prison is going to stop up the Zac engage. However, we might have a play on the Podrick looking to get stunned up. He gets taken out. That's going to be a big kill from Xerath. The fight is coming now. Elastic Slingshot's going to find a few members looking to see what they can get. Hubris is going to fall. And now that is going to be 2 members going down. There is low health bars all over the map, which means that they're probably just going to have to concede this objective at this point in time. And this will be huge for DBS. They're going to be able to secure this for themselves and then start looking to break open the base.
Yeah, Xerath out here just throwing out Pulse after Pulse on the back line, and he's entirely untouched along the Ash. And the story of that fight is 3 meatballs no one knew how to deal with. And it's really hard to call Renekton a meatball. Also, he's decided to finish the Spear of Sojin before finishing the Black Cleaver, which he's had 2 item parts to since I last talked about his build. Someone should really talk about Lord Skippy's builds on a vlog somewhere.
Yeah, and, you know, looking at all of these members here, I just see a whole ton of shutdowns. And if one fight, you know, maybe goes their way, they get too aggressive and decide to get over eager, go for a dive under the turret, maybe they could look at pulling off that miracle that we have seen before. It is certainly possible, but it would be quite a difficult task. But it's almost on their game, or their team, to throw this game, as they just have everything going for them. The goalie now, you know, about 12k. Everything just seems to be going in their favor. They have even 2 Mountain Dragons to help. And now we see Zohair. As I say, we might see a miracle. It looks like this man might just be taken down. Let's bounce. We'll zone him away, but we'll not grab him. But now we have Hubris is out of position, looking to help his jungler, and it was a big mistake. He will go down. Double kill will go over to Lord Skippy, as the bot lane duo is in some trouble, looking to see if they can get Podrick out. Double flash, but we have another engage. Podrick will fall. The King's Land is just going to be able to get out, barely. And this is just one kill after the other. They all seem to be totally separated and scattered throughout their jungle, and because of that, the Zac is more than happy to just keep engaging and keep finding these pits.
Yeah, no, Deus Vult is just showing us a clinic right now in how to close out a game. And I think Ari is just upset. Dr. Kennen just doesn't know what to do up in the top lane. Endlessly split pushing away while inhibitor turrets fall.
Yeah, I don't think there's much he would have been able to do to try and defend it, but I do agree. I think that there is a lack of being on the same page here coming through here for EOD. They seem to be just having a tough time of finding anything. It is obviously extremely hard to do when you're this far behind, but you know, you would like to see them maybe play a little bit more together to see if they can pull off anything. But at this point in time, it is just looking so difficult for them. They have one turret that did go in their favor, but now they're going to go for the reset, pick up some extra items, and then they're probably going to start moving towards that top lane or potentially that mid lane.
Shouts out to Hebrew Hammer, just showed up in the chat. Always a big fan of watching him play and saying his name out loud. But in the mid lane right now, where I think we're going to see is a 1-3-1 actually. I'm not sure if Xerath is going to go off on his own in the bot lane, but that's conceivable. I'd actually like to see them just 1-4 and put 4 players in the mid.
Yeah, that might be ideal for them, as they just have, again, so much engage. The Renekton is pretty much impossible to deal with at this point in time. You know, Hubris would be able to do a little bit to try and defend it, but eventually he will get poked out and will have to leave, or he will fall. So everything going in their favor at this point in time. It's all about just closing this game out. Hubris is kind of waiting in the brush here, maybe to see if they can find that pick on the Lord Skippy, and that's going to be a nice dash from him. Arrow comes out onto Dr. Kennen. See you later. You're taken down. Quickness as well as the Brand Entrance to try and get the King's Land out of that scenario. Looks like he should be able to get himself out for now, but the big mid laner has fallen, and this is going to just increase their advantage and just make it that much easier to start getting another inhibitor. Turret going dangerously low in the mid lane. Hubris still looking to battle it up against Lord Skippy here. Slice and dice, seeing if they can get anything more. Ultimate finally coming out, but the stun comes through, and they're just going to take him out. at the top lane are falling now. 2 members will be going down. They have their eyes set on the second inhibitor, moving towards the third. Everything looks like it might just close out this game right here, as they have made their way over to the Nexus turret. Another engage comes through. Gonna be able to stop the Sejuani engage. Let's bounce. Will not find anyone. Will get himself out, as they are doing what they can to defend it, but it's not going to matter. They have the damage, they have the minions, they have everything they need, but one last fight looks like it might happen. Zohair going dangerously low, seeing if he can get anything, but it's not going to matter. Game 1 will go over to DV, and it was in absolute dominating fashion.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Lots of key players showing up there and showing up very strong. The heartbeat of the team just being Shashuk, who was capable and able on the Zek to make every engage happen across every lane. Lord Skippy definitely fought against the odds here, because Hubris put up a clinic in showing how you're supposed to deal with a tank matchup, and unfortunately just wasn't able to manifest anything. Some question marks on the draft remain to be Zohair's Sejuani and Dr. Kennan's Ari for me. Both of those I'm unsure about their performance.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at your mid laner, and she's done less damage than the Braum, it's pretty hard to swallow that pill, and you definitely have to make some adjustments to your draft. I 100% agree. I would love to see maybe some more aggression come out, seeing if they can get anything going, maybe playing more around Podrick, because that seemed to be the only lane that was able to find any kind of fire. But overall, we are going to be throwing it to a quick little break. So do not go anywhere. We're going to see if EOD is able to bring it back and forth to game number 3. We'll be back very shortly.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Risen Dominate Premade series. If you just missed game number 1, it was Deus was able to come through and take that game pretty convincingly. I'm pretty sure there was only 3 kills that came through there for EOD Weeb Nation or Weeb Edition, as they just weren't able to get anything going for themselves. However, we're jumping into the draft for game number 2 to see if they can maybe change some things up to get something going for themselves, as we already see some of the bans coming through: Cassidon, Hecarim, and Rek'Sai for DV, and then EOD will respond with Morgana, Kai'Sa, as well as Malzahar.
Yeah, now, as we look at these bans, I think that we see some weird trends happening for both teams. Now, we see 2 very heavy control and assassin-style junglers banned out from DV, and the Cassidon as well. Cassidon, a very viable ban if you're trying to play the likes of an assassin in the mid lane yourself. And then on EOD's side, we actually see 2 control picks, both centered around picking people out, banned away, and the Kai'Sa, a hyper carry. So they're definitely afraid of DV just putting one player in the driver's seat. Braum, though, picked first. They must have been really confident in this from last game.
Yeah, the Braum seemed to work out for them pretty well, despite them going down 2v2. It was after they had already found a pretty good exchange, finding a 4-man collapse onto that bot lane duo, which we are going to get yet again. We're going to see the Zyra Rakan, and I'm not too surprised. I feel like the Zyra Rakan lane did pretty well. Podrick, doing everything he possibly can, with the help of a King's Land. It just unfortunately wasn't enough, as they pretty much lost right across the map.
Yeah, they look really pretty standing next to each other, and at least they drafted them in the right order. Shows that EOD is thinking about winning this game. As we're going to be getting 3 more seconds left till DV's last pick, it means they're at least a little time pressed on this decision, and Amumu is the quick lock-in followed by Ashe. It means they had Ashe decided, and Amumu was the thing that they weren't so sure about. Although there are some things coming in the chat that might have been a misclick.
Oh, so maybe, yeah, as they were kind of ticking down. But yeah, maybe we'll get a little bit of an update to see if that will be just the Amumu. But it looks like they're saying that it should have been Ashe. So I think that they locked the Ashe in quickly afterwards, because that was supposed to be the second pick. So they were going to try and rectify what that was. And it looks like it was supposed to be the Zac that was going to come through for themselves. So the Amumu is actually Zac. And then on the opposite side of things, before we jump into phase number 2, will be the Syndra in the mid lane.
Yeah, no, Syndra picked blind means there's going to be 2 mid lane bans going, each one designed to protect the Syndra. The first is going to be against Lissandra. Lissandra, not traditionally thought of as a counter to Syndra, but definitely has an easier time into that matchup than others do. Urgot banned away on the side of DV. They're definitely afraid of top laners here, despite not having picked the top lane of their own. And Xerath banned away. They don't want DV getting an deathless Xerath one more time. What do you think this last ban's going to be?
This last ban gonna be, man, unfortunately I'm not the analyst. Maybe it's another top laner might come through. I'm just good at yelling at the screen and hyping up those team fights. But I would assume maybe another top to see if they can get themselves some matchup or potentially take away what they played last game. But it looks like they're actually gonna try and pinch that jungle pool a little bit more. So they are going to come out with that Urgot and Kha'Zix to round out their draft. And now the first pick will be going over to EOD, as they still have to draft themselves a jungler as well as a top laner.
Yeah, no, as we're waiting for this next pick to come in, we imagine that they're going to have to draft something tanky here, and then they're going to leave up the counter pick for the top lane. So the tanky thing is actually going to be building Warrior first, and then a Black Cleaver second. Not very tanky at all. Unless he goes Summoner Airy in the top lane. And then he can be tanky. It's possible. I did see it yesterday on one of the 7 games I casted, or 6 games I casted.
Yeah, we might see something along those lines. I really do enjoy the Jarvan pick on top of the Zyra Rakan. It just, like you said, offers in just a lot more engaged for themselves. The Vel'Koz coming out here, which might be going to that support role, potentially maybe matching up against that Syndra. Actually, we'll probably be matching up against that Syndra, as I forgot about the Braum being first picked. So going towards that mid lane, as we saw Xerath, another champion that did not have a lot of mobility, but was able to make it work and did really well into that Ahri last game. So this time around, trying to see what he can do, the Vel'Koz into Syndra. We are going to see the Renekton. In last game, we did see Lord Skippy put a pretty good show on in the top lane, able to get out of multiple ganks and able to just harass Hubris as much as he could.
Yeah, now the Renekton is actually going to be picked into an Aatrox now. That's a pretty terrifying matchup, especially with the Jarvan. He excels with these type of picks. And with the Syndra, Rakan, Xayah, we see that EOD has drafted a composition. The issue is that the composition is based around two things, maybe three. Biggest is the Cataclysm coming in out of Jarvan. Tertiary is going to be the Rakan engage with a quickness and his Grand Entrance. And of course, sitting right next to that will be the Aatrox, just being big and in the front line, possibly able to land a flash Q engage, but that's not all that reliable. And lastly, of course, a Syndra stun. On the side of DV, though, we just see them trying to draft what appears to be winning lanes into a winning early game.
Yeah, and I see a lot of CC on both of these teams, and I absolutely love that. I think it'll be very interesting. We saw how good the Zac was last game. I'm sure it's going to continue into game number 2, finding just excellent engages, and we have the Ashe able to set up a lot of those plays for you as well, like she was doing. It makes it so good for themselves. So I definitely think both teams have a very good draft, might have a good idea of what they want to kind of play around. And I think if you're EOD, I think there's pretty much no doubt you're going to want to play towards the bot side, try and get Podrick ahead in this game, but this time make sure that the rest of your lanes can kind of maintain and not fall super behind, specifically looking at that mid lane. And because this time around it's going to be the Syndra coming through for EOD's mid laner, I'm going to see how that kind of plays out for them, as last game they had a more mobility champion but still was, did less damage than the Braum did. So needs to really step up here if they want to try and secure themselves this game number 2.
Yeah, now what is going to interest me is how Ashe Braum actually does in the bot lane this time around. I'd like to see them manifesting more advantages out of using their ultimates in conjunction together, especially into the Xayah Rakan. It feels like a pretty potent answer. Also, I'm pretty excited to see Jarvan used into this team because they don't have many dashes to get out.
Yeah, that's a great point. Jumping on this Ashe, jumping on this Vel'Koz, chaining your CC with the quickness into the Grand Entrance. You said it yourself, they don't have much CC to get out, especially when those flashes are down. You can seriously take advantage and just completely blow up some people. And when you have Xayah just shooting into the Grand Entrance and into the Cataclysm, it makes it so easy to pull all those feathers back and just watch those health bars disappear. So they do have a good strategy, but again, I think it's all about trying to maintain their early game. And I think a lot of that is actually going to come on to Zohair. He's played the Sejuani last game. He wasn't able to match the pressure of Sasuke. And because of that, you really saw the difference throughout the map. He was able to affect so many different lanes, and that might just be the same scenario, jumping into this game number 2. So I think the biggest players that really need to step up is going to be Zohair as well as their mid laner. And it looks like they actually did sub in a different mid laner here for themselves. So this is going to be a little bit different. Maybe they're seeing if they can play around the mid lane a little bit more and try and find their pressure and seeing if he can step up and be the carry that they need.
Yeah, I am confused by one last thing.
And what would that last thing be?
Zac, Vel'Koz, Renekton.
Zac, Vel'Koz, and Renekton. I can see where you're kind of coming with that. I'm assuming you're talking about along the lines of their team fight, or can you give me a little bit more insight?
Yeah, no, it's just I try to envision them doing any fight together, and it always just seems like that they're totally reliant on outplaying their opponents. Right? Because Vel'Koz knocking people up is pretty consistent into the Zac slingshot, so I see that working well. Renekton has a bit of AoE damage. And if you pull people onto a Renekton, it's not that big of a deal. The only person who's really good, like the Vel'Koz suffers. It feels like you have the, it's like the fox, the chicken, and the bag of rice. And you're trying to get them all over the river, right? So if you take one, the other one's always going to eat it, or leave it alone until you try to take the other one over, and then the other one's going to eat it. It feels like that no matter where they synergize, the other one has an anti-synergy to what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I can certainly see where you're coming from there 100%. Lord Skippy did, however, have some decent flanks last game, so maybe that's what they'll try and do while having the Vel'Koz poke and Zac engage. But I can definitely see the issue from fighting from a front to back standpoint. Without those flanks or without those openings under the carries, it does make it pretty difficult to kind of play around those specific champions. However, we are going to throw it to a short little break, guys. We're just going to wait for that spectator delay to get us into game, so do not go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few short moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to jump onto the Rift Again, if you are just tuning in, it was DV that were able to take game number 1. So EOD fighting back in this one, trying to see if they can tie the series up. But they have a lot on their hands if they're going to do so. The mid laner has been subbed in, so they are looking to make some changes, but will it be enough to try and take this game number 2 off of this team that is just looking so strong?
Now, Epileptic Unicorn is definitely a beautiful name if I've ever seen one. I'm going to be saying that a lot. It rolls off the tongue, and I'm a big fan of unicorns myself. Really any animal with one really big singular horn. So, sorry, dear.
For sure, as we are going to just have a regular 5-point start in this one. Nothing crazy happening, just like we saw in game 1. And sit straight, I gotta kind of ask you, jumping with game number 2, you coach a team yourself, I'm sure you've experienced losses, and when you have those losses, especially like the one that we just had, how do you bounce back, and how do you mentally prepare and reset, for that game number 2? What is kind of the strategy that you have for, your past that you've had these experiences?
In a best of 3 format, especially in a season game, I would have chosen a lot different strategy here. I think Hubris is actually a phenomenal player. I would have left him on Ornn in the top lane, especially if Ornn's available. I think that's a great pick for him, and even into the Renekton is great. The difference that I'd make, especially when choosing the Jarvan, is I would give the Jarvan up to the top lane a lot more, right? This gives him another option to gank. This justifies the Jarvan pick in my decision. I think it rounds off the draft. I think even if I'm given every single decision in this draft up until the last pick, I do that. And once I pick Ornn for my boy Hubris in the top lane, this is an entirely different game.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. I think that we saw an excellent performance last game at Hubris, but he's on the Aatrox this game, and this is going to be, a pretty hairy matchup. If either one of these champions, get that lead,
it can be pretty strat anyway.
Yeah, they are looking to pull the trigger up here. I think if Jarvan can find it, he's still level 2, has the flag and Drake available. Lord Skippy might have went that dash, so he should be fine, but we've seen a lot of waiting coming out from Zohair, but he hasn't pulled the trigger just yet. Lord Skippy kind of just waiting around, kind of knowing that he was on the top side as he did hit that ward.
He just wants Renekton to use out the slice. He's going to wait here just until it happens. Eventually, he's going to use the E. Nope. So he's going to get the E away.
Going to be able to E away. That's going to be the flag and drag. A little bit late, but not going to get the auto off because he already used the Empower auto. So he's going to chunk Lord Skippy out pretty hard, which is going to force the TP out. But if you look into the bot quadrant here, he is losing a few camps. He has lost his blue, and he's lost his Gromp. A nice awareness coming out from Zohair, knowing the blue is still up here from Zach. So he might be able to just trade that vertical jungling right back.
Well, yeah, see, Zach would have shown up to this lane in this situation, right? At least that's what I think would have happened. So because of that, he's going to know that the blue buff's up. And now he's actually, if he's playing smart, he's going to go right back top lane.
Yeah, and that's what we see time and time again. And it's so unfortunate when you're in the bot lane, sometimes in these vertical jungling. Sometimes you get that level 2 gank come out, forces a summoner, then vertical jungling happens, you go and take a few camps, you come back, you're not expecting it, and you can pull that trigger when they no longer have their summoners. You've seen it a lot more specifically in Season 9, especially with the addition of Scuttle Crabs in Season 8, and because of that, you just see so much more of it. Now, in this game here specifically, we've talked about the bot lane over and over again, Podrick, doing such, a good job, especially with the King's Land, having a lot of openings to try and find everything they possibly can to stay in it. But who else? You talked about Hubris. Is this the man that's going to have to step up and do it, or is this the man that they're going to have to keep playing around?
So I don't think the Hubris is the one that they're supposed to play around. I think that might give them the NA. So you've picked 3 different players who are given the ability to deal damage. Actually, we've seen engage from Zach. He's not going to have anyone to hit him with that elastic though. So that's not going to exactly stick, right? Stretching strikes don't always work. But with 3 players who can all deal damage and a 4th in the jungle who's also going to be dealing damage, I think they have a bigger question of they need 2 people to win.
Yeah, and they need to try and find that lead. And this time around, we do see a lot more of a slower paced game. And typically in game number 1s, when you have that extra game, that game number 2 to come back, you do see teams play a little bit more different, maybe more aggressive than usual. You see a nice trade on the Hubris here, but Lord Skippy's going to take a little bit of damage back over. They're both going at it, but that's going to be Lord Skippy coming out on top. But however, the TP is still available for Hubris if he wants to get back to that lane.
Renekton, the traditional lane bully, will continue to prove to be such, but Hubris surviving it, backing out smart, using his teleport here, getting a better back bump.
And this is a really big misplay from Zohair. He's going to pop the flash. The last 6 shots available. They're actually not going to pull the trigger there, respecting the Syndra, so not opting in for that play just yet, but did get a pretty big summoner out of Zohair there, and it didn't really cost them much. He decided to pull the trigger, and Zach was just in the right place at the right time.
Now, once again, I'll say it. Zach did have a way to kill him, but he had no way of actually having the information to know how to do it, but I'll say it anyway. He could have control warded the bush, flashed over, and then connected while hitting the ward to bring him back, and then J4 would have died to the knockup from Vel'Koz and following him.
Yeah, that would have been a play and a half if we saw that. It would have been absolutely crazy.
It really wasn't possible, but it was.
Oh, great entrance though. Gonna find a nice play on spot side. Concussive blow might come out, but it's actually a misclick on his to go. But now here comes the Ignite Nail looking for the chase, and that's gonna be the follow-up flash. His first blood will actually go over to Slayer MBX, which is, I believe, actually another substitute, if I'm not mistaken, as I don't think that was the same support that we had in the last game. I could be, don't quote me on that, I might just be tripping, but I do believe that might be a substitute that we actually have down there, able to get that first kill.
Might be really nice play. And I do see in the chat that Vel'Koz knockup was actually probably down, right? It's on a 15-second cooldown. I don't know if exact flash engagement made it. I'm not sure if he had red buff up, but that's really a dream play. Here comes this disintegration.
Yeah,
They'll immediately stun.
Looking to follow it up here, seeing if they can get anything more. Barrier was popped to neglect some of that damage. That's going to be, however, both summoners coming out from Syndra, not able to get anything. But now we have a nice gank up at the top side. Lord's going to be in trouble. Flash comes out, but they are looking to dive him. Hubris seeing if he can clean up this kill. The resurrection coming through, but Zohair is going to fall. Maybe looking for the 1v2. Lord Skippy is on the hunt, but not going for the play just yet. Waiting for his moment. Here comes the dash for the double kill. Lord Skippy popping off even in game number 2. Finding that opening, that was absolutely huge for him.
Now, the big problem there is, at least if you're rooting for the side of EOD, they really need 2 of their lanes to win. And bot lane looks like they're not exactly in that position after the kill comes in for Braum. Really feels bad when the support solo is able to get that, honestly. I prefer them over the ADC in most cases, although Ash's build is a little weird. We'll talk about it, though.
Maybe going for that Essence Reaver potentially, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't believe BF Blade or BF Sword builds into it anymore. So maybe potentially going for that to try and see what they can do with the mana cost. But Lord Skippy, the man able to pull off the 1v2 with barely any items, really just the boots and the longsword, and doing an excellent job at that. You could also say it was pretty much more of a misplay coming out maybe from the jungle and top laner here for the side of EOD. But nevertheless, it is going to be big for the top laner, and now he's got the TM out. The items are coming through. This is going to be an absolute struggle for Hubris, and you almost kind of have to try and just play around the spot side and see if you can shut them down now, because there's pretty much nothing you're going to be able to do much against the Renekton, as he just might pull off that play again.
Yeah, the Renekton's going to continue to be a force here. It's very clear Lord Skippy's a seasoned player on the champion and knows how to exploit every advantage he's given, and with that double kill Tiamat coming in, everything else is just kind of cherries on top when playing against Hubris, who only has, what, 150 health and then 20 AD?
Yeah, so not having all of the stats that Lord Skippy has right now, but, you know, at this point, we actually have 4 members collapsing down here. Maybe Syndra looking for the stun. Jarvan still has not been spotted out, however, so they may not expect him, but they must know that he might be around, as he hasn't seen him anywhere else on the map. However, Lord Skippy going for a nice trade will chunk Hubris down to half health. It's going to be World Ender is going to be available very shortly, just in case he goes for that all-in. But 4 members now have joined this bot lane duo, seeing if they can pull off some of this turret plating. They're going to be able to get themselves at least 2 plates. It's only going to be 40 gold split between all of them. However, Arrow's going to come out. Slayer looking to follow up the Glacial Fissure. We'll find almost all the members. They are looking to collapse. Disintegration Ray is doing just that. Will take them extremely low. Relisaur coming out to see if they can pull anything out of their back. Seeing if they can get anything more, though, but 3 members are just going to go down, and that has just gone completely wrong for EOD. They send the members down first, but they end up paying for it, and now the Infernal Drake, as well as all that gold, will be the reward.
Yeah, see the Ashe really capable there with that frost shot. consistently lay down damage. Now we're gonna see Zohair just picking up his own blue, and you can almost tell how afraid he is, even leaving the jump up. He walks away.
Showing so much respect, and nonetheless that was an infernal Drake, and we saw all of the dragon control come last game, and it was just pretty much them getting every single objective, from turrets to Rift Herald to dragon after dragon, everything going their way. And on top of that, they're even going to take another plating off of the mid lane. 3 members now grouping on to the lane to see if they can get anything more, but they're just going to back away. Or Skippy is just going to keep on trading with Hubris, and going to be able to heal up as well. So everything going right, and this looks like it just could be a repeat of last game. And you know, when you were EOD who did see this exact same thing happen, you know, you have to think like, how does your motivation, you know, stay in this one and make sure the exact same thing doesn't happen, as they're already 3k gold behind and we're only at the 11-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's begins and ends with someone who we haven't talked about at all, probably because you can't pronounce his name. Mawawum? There we go. That was an attempt.
Yeah, I think that might actually be pretty good. Yeah, that's going to be the stopwatch coming up, but it's not going to be enough. Let's bounce. Pulls him right into the disintegration ray. That's going to be a nice play from that jungle mid duo. And yeah, that might have been the best attempt. I didn't even try. I'm not going to lie. I just was going to refer to her as Syndra. Might still as well, but she will be taken down for her second death of the game. So maybe not doing as much as the last mid laner was doing. And now this might result into a little bit more plating as they just keep on increasing their gold lead.
So they're saying it's Mawame.
Now we have it engaged down on the bot side here, looking to see if they can get anything more. All the way to the mid lane here, and that's going to be a nice engage. Zohair's going to be able to get that out. Actually, it was the Ignite that will go over, so that means that will be a Kingsland finding that kill. Sasuke trying to see if he can get himself out of this scenario. Last shot should be up very shortly, so he's going to be able to get himself to safety. But overall, able to get at least a kill over to themselves and got the summoners out of the mid laner of DB.
I've been told it's Mawame, but here we go. Flag and drag, flash out of Braum.
Yeah, looking to see if they can go for this play. Able to get the summoner, but it was at the cost of Hubris's TP. There's still a few members down here to see if they want to go for this play. They are still chasing, but that's going to be a little bit of a slow there onto the mid laner of EOD. Seeing if they go for anything more, and they've already sent 4 members down here, but you got to look at the top side of the map. We're going to see Lord Skippy is already ahead, and he is getting that turret plating. That is solo turret plating. He is getting 160 gold per plate. 5 members have made their way down here, so they might be able to try and contest the first turret. But I think that Lord Skippy is going to get it, and it looks like he will, just barely coming through. So getting all of that plating, getting the first turret, this man is cashing out.
Cashing out indeed, and we're actually going to take a quick look at the gold right now. As we see, Jarvan has the largest bank. Actually, sorry, it's Renekton sitting at 22, but Jarvan with a healthy 15. He's going to be buying some pretty big items. Actually finishing off his warrior. That's a big spike for the jungler. If we look, the people who still haven't finished items are Hubris, our boy Mawume, or Mawaum. Mawaum, I think sounds pretty good. I think I'm getting there. Both still unfinished with items. Supports, of course, still lacking behind a little bit. And in the mid lane, it looks like Epileptic Unicorn is also a little bit behind. Let's him go for boots before finishing. Is that a Void? Or no, that's a Ludenectos. And the Rift Tower goes down.
So my producer is saying Muame. I'm probably butchering it. I'm probably just gonna refer to Syndra. Gonna do my best, but as we see, the Rift Herald going to be dropped in the mid lane, 4 members strong, and they have Zac in the shadows lurking for that elastic slingshot. The charge comes through, the turret will fall. So yet another objective going over the side of DV as a nice stun comes out, and now they're actually going to be going on to Podrick. He's in a bit of trouble, but getting kited away to help up his jungler. Now we see the mid laner will fall and go down. Look at the back line, seeing if they can get anything more. Hubris as well as the King's Lantern. A bit of trouble, seeing if they can get anything. Cataclysm comes through. That is going to be the Ash down. The fight maybe they need to keep on going, but Lord Skippy is also so strong, able to secure 2 kills for his mid laner, and they are keep on going. They're going to see if they can get anything more as this dice comes out. Big kill comes through, and now 4 members going down. Sasuke goes for the play, but was not in range, and now we are 11-2. Another turret going down. The gold lead getting out of control, just like game number 1, and they are going to look to move to that dragon, which will be an ocean drake. And this is just everything going right, just like game number 1.
Yeah, the only thing that we can really criticize them for is not having taken an inhibitor by now. I feel like they could have ended the game in 16 minutes if they weren't concerned with such petty things as ocean dragons. But with low health bars, I can understand their concerns. Now, the pings are coming down on the top side of the map, so they know where two are. They might even take this fight over the blue buff. No, they won't.
It looks like they might just opt in for that reset, as we can see a Kingsland looking to set up vision in the top side of the map. That will probably be the next big objective that both these teams start fighting over. That won't be live for another 4 minutes, so it is a while before they can really start getting that. There's still quite a few outer turrets that they are able to collapse on, 2 in each, or 1 in each side lane before they can start hammering on the base turrets. But everything going right, and it just seems like they're playing so synchronized. They're on the same page, and they are just finding the goalies and just using, you know, their better teamwork, better individual skill to come out on top, as this game looks like it just might follow en route with game number 1, which was just an absolute blowout, finding themselves like 15, 16k gold ahead. And the bot lane up here looking like they're taking a bit of pressure, but they're going to be just fine as Zach's making his way up here. They all look to move to the top side of the map. Sun comes out though. That's going to be a big engage now. Cataclysm as well as the Grand Entrance and Quickness all being used, and it will not be enough to save him. Zazu is in some trouble. Aftershock already popped. That's going to be bringing him back in with the Blast Cone. Passive now has been popped. His Ballin is looking to join him. A nice dodge comes out from Zohair. That's the flag and drag, getting himself to safety. Seeing if they can go for anything more. They're going to be able to keep their jungler alive with the help of the teleport from Lord Skippy. So a nice play, a nice converge comes in, but they're still able to find themselves a 1-for-1.
Yeah, and I mean, those are the trades that you're trying to make, but you're really hoping for a 4-for-4, honestly. You want the game to just be stalled out for as long as possible. If possible, both teams acing each other is the dream right now for EOD. Because I as much as it's a cliche to say, they do in this case actually outscale.
Yeah, they certainly do, and they have the tools. We talked about it in draft. They have all of the tools that kind of combine their CC. You know, the team fight is so good, the Cataclysm, you know, on top of the Grand Entrance, the quickness. They have everything going for them. They just need to get to that point, and it's all about stalling, like you said. Will they be able to? Zohair looking pretty squishy, as there's a few members up here looking to see if they can go for this play, but now it looks like a reset will come out. It seems like they're just kind of waiting for that Baron to actually spawn. That will be the next big objective that they really just want to take, and then just start driving it down one of these lanes to start opening up the base and cracking those inhibitors.
You know, it's tough to be the late game kings, honestly. There's a reason Splicers never came home with the EU Championship, and there's a reason Yamato Cannon's trophy case remains empty. But there's a chance here that they can pull it off. The question's going to come down to if Jarvan can help them stall along with Syndra and Xayah Wave clear. Aatrox is never going to be big enough to match anyone in the side lane. He's actually probably going to get picked here.
Yeah, he definitely could. 2 levels down here, and also here comes the Ash Arrow. That World Ender was used, but all the members looking to join here. 4 strong, and that kill will go over to Void Bullet Angel, so getting himself another kill on the board, his 2nd of the game, as they are looking to maybe go for this turret down in the bot side. Maybe the last tier 1, as they are just going to work on this. There's no one in position to defend it. They're not really able to. Goal lead now working towards 6k, just like last game, and now will increase after this turret. We're seeing if they can set up to try and stall this one out, but I think they might just have to try and give it up as Zazu go for the play. Let's bounce coming through, bring 2 members back. Exasperate dude, Featherstorm trying to see if he can pull it back. Flash comes out. Zohair going to be able to get himself just barely away, but that is going to be a Kingsland falling, and that is going to be a 20-second death timer, and they still might go for more. Another engage comes through, and now it's right onto Podrick, stunned up. Amazing play coming through from the jungler, and now that's going to be Syndra falling as well. 3 members will fall after that team fight, as these elastic slingshots just finding member after member, and now they're going to get themselves another turret looking towards maybe breaking open the base.
Now, I do believe that this turret is going to go down, the inhibitor to follow behind it. The issue is going to be Syndra's death timer. We need to keep an eye on that.
Goes in for a bit of a play. No passive available for him, so he does not want to overcommit. And that is going to be all the members now coming back up for EOD. So like I said, they kind of have to back away here, but Zohair kind of looking for a play. They still are 5 members strong, so he cannot go in. And still a pretty squishy Jarvan. Doesn't have too many resistances, and they're just really looking for a reset. Zohair looking to stop their backs, but I don't really think it's going to delay much. They'll eventually reset and go towards the Baron, but now finally maybe biting off more than they should have. He goes in too deep, gets taken down. A bit of greed comes out from Hubris, and because of that, they have no member in the top lane, so they're just going to take this Ocean Drake, as that top laner is not going to be back up for 20 seconds. Does have the TP. Oh, but it's actually going to be stolen from the Jarvan with the E, so maybe not a free Drake going over. That Ocean Drake will probably help them out quite a bit with the siege that will be coming from DV, as that was a small win they were able to get for themselves. That's gonna actually pay off pretty big.
Zohair MVP, that's all I heard.
Zohair
a lot of words
MVP.
there. I heard Zohair MVP over and over and over again. This man is gonna bring them right back into the 21st century and carry them into the 22nd century. The first thing that I see going down is the rest of the outer turrets. EOD has got this on the back of their new Ocean Drakes. Vel'Koz Poku.
Yeah, I would certainly love to see them make this comeback, force the game number 3. It would just be quite the storyline to be able to come back from this kind of a deficit, especially after the way they had lost in game number 1. It would be extremely interesting, but you can see them already setting up vision here. They have everything pinked out. They have all the red quadrant here on the top side of the map just completely warded up, everything going right, and because they have the elastic slingshot, the ash arrow, all these engage tools, gonna make it pretty hard for EOD to actually walk in. And now we see the engage here. World Ender is available for Hubris if he wants to go in, but they're just going to kite this one out, so just a little bit of damage will go over to both teams as they now look to just converge back over towards this Baron.
Yeah, this team composition might end up with some problems as the game just keeps on getting later. Syndra being allowed to clear waves along with Azaya. Shouts out to Podrick again. This man always on these warding missions, although we're going to see the flag and drag away. Ash arrow burnt. Wards are cleared, however.
Yeah, wards are clearing. They're clearing as a team, but again, they
Slingshot.
are extremely far behind. Super does not pull the trigger, but now the quickness is going to be used, but it's onto the Braum. Maybe not the target you wanted. Re-engage comes through. Looking now onto Hubris. He's going to have to pop World Ender, already resurrecting. Trying to get himself out of this. However, Podrick looking to put the hurt on. The Cataclysm comes through. Maybe the fight they needed. That's going to be one, however, falling. It's going to be a 1-4-1. Hubris getting away. It's burning, but he's going to be able to survive with the help of the potion. So maybe the game is not over just yet. They are 8K behind, but they are telling us they are not out.
No, this is definitely staying close. I'm telling you, the outscaling potential will continue to stay there for EOD. And I think that the compositional problems of DV in these 5v5 fights are going to continue to show. Now, if DV wants to win, what they're going to have to do, in all honesty, is engage into a split push, even though it means that Vel'Koz isn't with your 3. Right now, it sounds weird, but it's really what you have to do in this case. You can even 1-4 because of the open inhibitor, but what they have to do is stop 5-manning the mid because they are not going to win the front to back.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Lordscape, he has the TP available. You know, he's able to go down to this bot lane, start applying pressure, draw multiple members down here, and if it is just one response or no one responds, then he gets himself that open inhibitor. I 100% agree. I would love to see him do that. He is kind of pathing towards that, so he might look to set up that play. He might just be listening to us on stream with the strats here from me, and as well as Sit Straight calling out that play for themselves. You can see them fighting over vision. Things lands. He gets taken a little bit low, but he's going to be fine. Walk himself out. Aftershock was procced, and this is all going to be on DV and how they want to play out this game and try and close it out.
Now, Renekton's always going to be a threat if he's pushing into the spot lane, but even furthermore, I think that if they are in 4 shoving into the top lane, they're guaranteed a turret in the stage. So I would be taking this guaranteed gold. Oh.
Yeah,
really
a lot
nice
of damage goes on to Zohair. He's going to get chunked out quite a bit from the Vel'Koz there. The help of the passive. Sun comes out there from the Syndra to try and push the Zac away. And they're kind of just in a situation where they're taking over vision control, but they're doing a very good job of making sure they're not actually pulling the trigger on the Baron. And now Lord Skippy drawing a few members down here, seeing if they can get him, but he's going to be safe and sound. And Ash is going to start hammering on the top tier.
Yes, this is that 1-4 where they're guaranteed to get the top turret, and there's always the threat with Hubris in the bot because the Aatrox can't match him. Hubris is a good player, but he's not that good.
Yeah, Hubris has the ultimate available, and he's gonna flash in and just takes him out. That is a 40-second cooldown. Now seeing if they can get anything more here as the fight is on. They have to disengage. Arrow goes on to Zohair. They can follow it up, but an excellent route will find 3 members. But here comes Lord Skippy on the flank. Podrick will go down, maybe looking to end it here. That's gonna be the left bounce, brings all the members back, and that's gonna be a double kill coming through for Lord Skippy, and that is an excellent engage from the jungler yet again with the let's bounce. And there is only one man remaining. It is the King's Lands. And unfortunately, this isn't your lands anymore. They are looking to converge onto these turrets, looking to see if they can knock it and end it down right now. One turret will fall. The members now, here comes the World Ender, looking for Hubris to make the miracle play. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Already resurrecting. The second turret has fallen. The re-engage will happen. Hubris looks like he will fall at the hands of Lord Skippy yet again, and the Nexus will just be taken down. And that is going to be DV coming out on top today with the hot 2-0, dropping less than 10 deaths in both games, just playing absolutely out of their minds.
All right, first let's talk about the good. Podrick tried his hardest. He even bought an Executioner Calling, but he was an item short of being relevant on this patch because he elected to go for Essence Reaver before finishing Infinity Edge. These are the choices that ADCs are forced to make on this patch. That's the good. For the bad now, Zohair has to be able to land ultimates onto the Ashe and onto the Vel'Koz. These are the immobile members who end the game flashless and are much more impacted by the Cataclysm than the Zac, who's currently going to ultimate you and CC you and your friends away. That being the worst example that we see throughout the game. Other ones also just showing that we're not really using the Jarvan ultimate as far as we could have. Not to say that this is all on him, right? Hubris also just has a bad time because Lord Skippy is absolutely devastating. I know this is only the second week. If any teams from Risen are watching this, please don't give this man Renekton. Make him pick something else. He's confidently buying items based on how much gold he has and not what item is best for the situation. He's building the same 3 items. It's a guarantee. He's literally just deciding based on how much gold he can spend and how he can most effectively spend that much gold because he just assumes he'll get the most stats. When a player's playing like that, they're playing like Uzi was 2 years ago when he was doing the exact same thing while boot camping. Like, this is actually terrifying at 13-0-6. Those are all my thoughts, though.
I think it's a fair point to bring up. They certainly need to watch out for this man, as he had just an exceptional game in 1 and 2, and he had the 1v2 very early on into the lane that was able to pretty much jumpstart that lead, and from there he transitioned that into this crazy KDA that he has now, and he played absolutely out of his mind. I think you also have to give it up to the jungler for DV. I think this man had a lot of great engages, was pretty much in the right time, or right place, right time throughout the entire series, finding those big engages, using the Let's Bounce to either zone or bring multiple members in. And overall, they looked pretty solid as a team, and definitely a team to watch out for in this group as they now are sitting at the 2-0 spot. However, that is going to be it for the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I believe at 7 o'clock, we do have the Champions League going on tonight. So make sure you come back and tune in. Not today, maybe. Oh, sorry. Next week. As my producer tells me that, I was getting excited, but don't mind what I'm saying. Just completely forget about it. However, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next stream.